Chào mừng các bạn đã trở lại với Overtime, một chương trình rất đặc biệt về bóng rổ. Và ngày hôm nay chúng ta hãy cùng nói chuyện về một đội bóng cũng rất đặc biệt. Đội bóng lần đầu tiên tham dự VBA và ngay lập tức họ đã trở thành nhà tân vương của ngai vàng VBA danh giá. Đó chính là câu lạc bộ Thăng Long Warriors. Và như thường lệ, ngày hôm nay hai vị khách mời của chúng ta đó là huấn luyện viên Don Tae-hyul, huấn luyện viên trưởng của đội bóng Đà Nẵng Dragons, và một gương mặt rất quen thuộc khác, đó là anh Trần Minh Phương, một rapper và một người hâm mộ bóng rổ.
Chào.
Như những gì chúng ta đã nói rất nhiều về những đội bóng trước, thì ngày hôm nay là một đội bóng đương kim vô địch. Vậy chắc chắn rằng sẽ có rất nhiều điều thú vị đang chờ đợi chúng ta đến từ hai vị khách mời. The first question I want to ask Coach Don Tae-hyul about the honor of Thăng Long Warriors. Do you agree with me that the honor of Thăng Long Warriors is the best honor in VBA?
I don't know if he's the best owner, but he's the best owner in Thăng Long for sure. But I love his passion. He is so passionate about Thăng Long Warriors. He has really supported those guys. He's given them just great love, and he's been there. You can tell he's in the trenches. He's very excited. You know, when they win, he's there. When they lose, he's there. His passion is contagious, and you can feel his energy every time he comes into the arena. Even coming in against us, I could feel his energy screaming. I'm like, wow, you're on the road and you're louder than anybody else in here. So I think those things are major keys to their success. When you can have great ownership that's positive and supports you, now you're going to build a better role to be a champion team.
Whenever I see them, I see the excitement, the passion from
Absolutely.
Còn Phương thì sao? Bạn thấy như nào? Bạn cảm giác như nào về những người chủ của đội bóng Thăng Long Warriors?
Ban đầu khi bắt đầu theo dõi giải VBA thì đội bóng đầu tiên mà tôi quan tâm đến là Thăng Long Warriors, và cái quá trình theo dõi đội bóng này tôi có rất là nhiều dịp để quan sát các người chủ của đội bóng. Thì tôi thấy họ là những người ban đầu họ cũng dường như họ cũng không biết nhiều về bóng rổ, nhưng họ hòa nhập rất nhanh và có cái sự đam mê cũng như là nhiệt huyết rất là lớn dành cho đội bóng cũng như môn thể thao này. Họ có công việc, họ ở trong thành phố Hồ Chí Minh và họ đã ra Hà Nội lập đội bóng, và họ không bao giờ thiếu vắng trong tất cả các trận đấu của Thăng Long Warriors. Đó là một và thậm chí là cả những cái thời điểm mà đội bóng ví dụ như có nhiều cầu thủ bị ốm, cầu thủ bị chấn thương, hoặc là có những cái dịp thi đấu dài ngày ở Hà Nội, thì họ luôn luôn có mặt ở Hà Nội để theo sát đội bóng, để chăm lo cho những cầu thủ của mình như những người trong gia đình. Tôi rất ấn tượng về những người chủ của Thăng Long Warriors.
One thing I want to add to what you're saying exactly is with the Thăng Long owners, they are after new and improved talent. They're not just waiting. The day after the championship game, they were actually in the gym watching the other local players. So they're in the gyms. They're looking for the next best player that can be a part of their organization. And I think that's going to help them become stronger down the road, because now players in the Hanoi area and other regions will say, hey, wow, these owners, not just coaches, the owners are coming and watching us play, looking to see who's the next best player. And I think those kind of things are critical to building a long-term plan for success. It's great to show up at game day, but now if an owner shows up at practice, now if an owner shows up after a championship game, he's back working, looking for the next best talent, I think that in itself is amazing, and those are great things to build a culture of basketball around.
In the press before the VBA starts, the owner of Thăng Long Warriors, Ms. Tracy Taylor, just told to the press that it's the first season of Thăng Long Warriors, so she had a little girl that go to the finals. I mean, what do you think when you?
Well, I think, you know, first and foremost, she's the first woman owner in VBA basketball. That is amazing in itself. It shows you that the diversity of basketball in Vietnam is growing. Now, not only she's a model for other young girls to aspire and say, wow, I can be an owner of a men's basketball team. And I think it gives the VBA more presence. It gives it more diversity as far as more people being attracted to the game. Now you have young girls coming, women coming, kids coming. So it showcases a lot of versatility and diversity. And I think that's what makes it amazing. And again, you come in, she's been a winner her entire life, he's been a winner his entire life, and I think they're coming together to create a winning culture. And that's kind of what they're doing. They're bringing a winning culture with their positive attitude and their desire to become successful in VBA. And I think, obviously, they put the right people in place. and success showed itself.
Tôi có theo dõi thông tin khi mà đội bóng Thăng Long Warriors ra mắt và có đưa ra cái tuyên bố là họ đặt mục tiêu khiêm tốn thôi là vào đến chung kết. Thì ngay sau khi đó trong đầu tôi nảy ra một suy nghĩ là chắc chắn là họ đã có một sự chuẩn bị rất là kỹ lưỡng cho cái mùa giải năm nay, và thực tế đã chứng minh điều đó. Họ có một cái dàn cầu thủ rất là già dặn, rất là chất lượng và chiến đấu rất là khủng khiếp, và họ thực tế đã giành chức vô địch.
Đây thực sự là một điều bất ngờ lớn nhất tại VBA hôm nay. Mr. Donte, last time you told me that if you want to be a champion, you have the whole the champion start. So I see at the start of Thang Long it's not good. Just best defense ranking number one, and just number one is point from turnover. So 3-point field goal persons, 3-point is not. It's number 5 in 2-point, number 4 in 3-point. Why they get the champions?
The one thing about it, in the playoffs and in a championship, the game changes.
Yeah.
You know, the court is not as big anymore. Every play is extremely critical. Every decision that you make is very important and valuable to the next play. And I think what they did was they held their hats on the defensive side of the basketball.
Yeah.
They would stop teams. Teams would go on runs, and they would slow those teams down. They played a space and pace game that was more conducive to what they do well, and that's physical. They had a very physical front line. If you look at the average height of the team, it was 192 centimeters. I mean, you have obviously Trong, he's 180, but you have Van Hung, he's 195, Justin 193, Ryan Lay 193, J1 Hill 203. So what happens is their size and their physicality is what made them a great team. And then you add on top of that, the average age of that team is 30 years of age. Justin Young, who's experienced college basketball player, 2 years in the VBA, was the youngest at 24. On the starting 5 roster, you have Van Hung, 37, Trong, 33, J1 Hill, 28, Ryan Lake, 30. So they're so much more mature that they never let the game get out of the way. They never was too emotional. If you notice when they played, they wasn't really if it was up, they stayed focused. If they were down, they stayed focused. They never let their emotions get the best of them. And that's what happens when you're mature. When you're mature, you kind of stay focused and stay even and stay smooth. And their success over the course of the game would lead them to victories. But they've been the #1 team the entire year. Yeah. They have been a true champion. They were #1 in the regular season, competing, fighting, and they're #1 championship. But now, what helps? They get the #1 draft pick in Justin Young.
It's right?
Absolutely. I mean, he was the difference maker. He really came in and created that winning culture. He brought that same pedigree from Ho Chi Minh City Wings last year to Thao Long this year. And then Coach Lee, I give him a lot of credit. He made the right decision in getting the right import. He knew Justin Young was an amazing piece in getting him drafted, but now he was able to add in J1 Hill, a player that he's already familiar with. Then you add in Van Hung, who's a legend in sports.
Yes.
I mean, just his presence alone. Then Van Hung recruited Trong. I mean, so you have these pieces that it wasn't he did it. Justin recruited J1, Van Hung recruited Trong, and Coach Lee drafted Ryan Lay. You know, so I mean, it was just a combination of they just had the right momentum. And I think the owner, he came in, he had a tough call to make. Justin really was kind of wanted to go back to Hanoi Buffaloes, and the owner said, "I got the first pick. I'm building a winning culture here. We're drafting Justin Young," and I think I respect and appreciate Justin Young's attitude. He came in, he put it behind him, and he focused on making Thao Long the winner. And now Justin Young, because he had a championship attitude, now he's the actual champion in the VBA for the second year.
So how do you evaluate the defensive tactic from Coach Litarana when he has 3 big men, Justin Young, Iman Hung, and Leon Hill?
What happens is that's why they're so good defensively, because now you take in all of that size. They don't give up offensive rebounds. Now, you as a guard, as a player, you have to shoot over Justin. You have to shoot over Jaywan Hill. You have to shoot over Van Hung. You have to shoot over Ryan Lay. They covered so much space on the basketball court that it makes it tough for teams to get into a rhythm. And their size and physicality also makes it tough for teams to get in a rhythm. So I think their defense was based on their length and their athleticism. And that what made them different across the board from every team here in the VBA. And that's why they're #1 ranked team on the defensive side.
Tôi đặc biệt ấn tượng với Justin Young. Anh là người thường xuyên được giao cái nhiệm vụ kèm chết cái mũi tấn công mạnh nhất của đối phương. Và ngoài ra khi cần anh ta còn có thể bước lên và ghi điểm khi thấy trận tấn công đang bế tắc. Có những trận anh vừa phụ trách việc phòng thủ rất khủng khiếp kèm chết đối phương, sau đó anh lại bước lên ghi trên 20 điểm trong một trận đấu, làm rất nhiều việc. Khi Thăng Long Warrior gặp khó khăn, Justin Young là người gồng gánh. Khi Jaywan Hill không thành công trong mặt trận tấn công, Justin Young sẽ tiến lên.
But I don't think it's just him. Ryan Lay, towards the second half of the season, he was the one that really focused in on the defensive side of the basketball. He let Justin say, hey, you focus a little bit more on the offense side. I'm not going to shoot as much, but I'm going to focus on doing all the small things to help us be successful. And I think Van Hung, his strength and his physicality, he also said, Jaywan, you give us more offense, I'll give us more defense. So I think it was a tandem that they all worked really well together, and all of them made the right sacrifices for them to be successful. And then they said, hey, Trong, you're not a great defender, but if you work hard and you compete and you knock down shots, we're gonna live with that. So Trong gave his best effort on the defensive side of basketball, but he trusted Van Hung had his back. He trusted Jaywan had his back. He trusted Justin had his back. He trusted Ryan Lay had his back. And they did it as a committee. It wasn't just the defense. They were also #2 in rebounding. They were #5 in block shots, and they were #3 in steals per game. So now there's some things there that can help your defense. You're holding teams to one shot, rebounding, or you're getting a steal, but then also they were #3 in fast break points per game. So a lot of their fast break points came from the defense.
Yes.
Now Tron can get out on the lane and knock down some of those open jump shots. But again, they did an amazing job working as a team defense. It wasn't like an individual superstar. They did it as a team. I think because you're mature, they're 30 on the average age. That is how you can communicate to your team. Those guys are not going to get too rattled and say, I want to score 20 points. I want to score 50 points. No, you know what they did? Say, hey, what is it going to take for us to win? What is it going to take for us to be successful? And I think those sacrifices are why they are the actual champion. It's not in the stats. The stats won't tell you why they're the VBA champion. What you can tell from the stats is their ownership is amazing. The ownership wants to win, but then also the players bought into the system of Coach Lee. Coach Lee came in and said, hey, you guys are mature. I didn't see him yelling at those guys. Those guys came in ready to play. He never had to motivate those guys to play hard. Jaywan, play hard. Justin, play hard. Ryan Lay, play hard. Van Hung, played hard. Trong, played hard. Those guys played hard all game long, every quarter, every game, and that was why they're the #1 team for the season.
Tôi có một cái bổ sung cho cái ý vừa rồi của ông Don Tae Hugh, tức là Thăng Long Warrior họ thực sự có rất là nhiều các cái lựa chọn trên mặt trận phòng thủ, rất là nhiều người có thể làm tốt cái việc phòng thủ của mình. Thì có một việc mà tôi quan sát thấy hiếm gặp ở các cái đội bóng khác ấy, tức là khi mà cầu thủ import có mặt trên sân và đối phương có free throw, ném phạt, thì hầu như tất cả các đội bóng khác sẽ có cầu thủ import với vai trò là trung phong đứng để chuẩn bị rebound, nhưng mà riêng Thăng Long Warrior tôi quan sát là rất nhiều khi họ để Jaywan Hill đứng ở phía trên để phụ trách cái phần phản công nhanh khi phía trong có thể rebound được sau quả free throw.
Yes, his ability to run the lane and say, hey, Van Hung has going to get that rebound, or Trong is going to get that rebound, or Justin's going to get that rebound. Now it makes the pressure on the other import to run back and stop him on the defense side of basketball. So those are some things that he was just kind of a smart basketball player. He knew he kept the intensity, kept the energy, then then the other import will get tired.
So behind the success of the team is a big system.
I believe
must running well together.
Oh man, they were a well-oiled machine.
Yeah.
They worked tremendously well together. You could see the level of sacrifices that each player took in order not for him to be successful, but in order for my teammate to be successful. And then again, I give a lot of credit to Trong. His growth over the course of this summer, playing in Seattle, playing in SEA Games, working out at the National Training Center, and getting his shot to a higher level of efficiency. He grew as a basketball player. What you said, he averaged 7 points last year, and he improved that to 14 points this year. I mean, he shot 36% from the three-point line. He did a little bit of everything this year, and he was free just to do that. You can look at the growth that he took. He lose confidence a couple times, but he kept shooting.
Yeah.
And if you keep shooting, you know, most shooters know the next shot is going in, and he kept shooting until the next shot went in. And that's why he was the local MVP. He got my vote, that's for sure. He deserved it.
Ít người nghĩ rằng năm nay Tô Quang Trung sẽ chơi bùng nổ như vậy, và kể cả khi tôi quan sát anh ấy chơi những trận đầu tiên ở VBA năm nay thì tôi thấy sự mệt mỏi. Khi đó tôi nghĩ là đó là dấu ấn của tuổi tác và anh không thể chơi đỉnh cao nhiều. Có một trận đấu mà tôi xem anh ấy ném trượt liên tiếp 4 quả ném phạt. Thực sự tôi ấn tượng bởi lần đó
ấn tượng không tốt đúng không?
Ấn tượng rất là không tốt. Tôi thấy anh ấy rất là không tự tin và mệt mỏi. Nhưng sau đó dần dần thì tôi thấy sự tự tin của Tô Quang Trung cứ lớn dần lên cùng với cái sự chuỗi thành công của Thăng Long Warrior, thì tôi thấy giống như là anh ta cũng lớn lên cùng đội bóng, phát triển cùng đội bóng. Anh có những cái trận thi đấu rất bùng nổ, có những trận anh ném 5-6 quả 3 điểm, và thường là những cái quả rất là đắt tiền, những cái quả mà thay đổi tình thế trên sân và đưa Thăng Long Warrior đến chiến thắng. Và ngoài ra thì anh ấy mang đến Thăng Long Warrior cả những cái kinh nghiệm của rất là nhiều năm chơi bóng rổ. Đôi khi là Tô Quang Trung chính là người mà phải nhận cái phần xấu khi mà đội bạn đang rất là khí thế. Anh là người mà có những cái pha một chút có thể nói là tiểu xảo để hạ nhiệt đối phương, nhận lỗi về phía mình.
Vấn đề tiểu xảo cũng là một phần của thể thao, chúng ta không thể tránh khỏi. Tất nhiên chúng ta không dùng túng cho về đánh xấu và tiểu xảo là hoàn toàn khác nhau, chúng ta phải nên nhớ về điều đó. Coach Dante Hughes and Winter Phương have a same opinion as the best player of Thăng Long Warriors, but it's my opinion. I love Nguyễn Văn Hùng. Why? It's because with Nguyễn Văn Hùng, John Hughes, he can play wire, he can shot outside, he can handle, and he can do anything he wants. Yeah.
I totally agree with you, and that's something that we talked about in detail before even coming on the show today, is the fact that Van Hung really allowed Jaewon to showcase his versatility.
Yeah.
Van Hung could guard the other import in the paint, and Jaewon could focus on guarding a 4 or a 3 on the wing. And it allowed Jaewon to be more versatile on the offensive side of the basketball, because now Van Hung could play inside and Jaewon could play outside, which allowed Van Hung to get those extra rebounds offensively and allowed Jaewon just to run around the court. So again, I think you're making an amazing point, and that's why it's amazing how they work together as a team. And you can tell he has really improved from year 1 to year 2. Last year, his jump shot was at a 15-foot range. Now he's opened that up to about 17, 18 foot. So he take 2 or 3 three-pointers this year. And he may make 1 or 2 or make 2 for 4. But he took those shots because he was confident in the work he put in over the course of the offseason to become a better shooter. And he shot 71% from the free throw line. So he did the things that he needed to prepare in order to become a better basketball player. And it just so happens he was able to benefit the organization of Tao Long with those talents. But then you take in Van Hung, his leadership. I think he was so humble as a leader in that locker room.
Yes.
Here's a guy that definitely could be starting on any team and a superstar. But you know what he did? He said, hey, I'm going to sacrifice. If coach needs me to start, I'll start. If coach needs me to come off the bench, I'll come off the bench. And that was the great thing. I believe that team had the great humility to be a champion. Nobody had their ego. And if you want to win a championship game, if you want to be a championship culture, you got to take your ego out of the equation and say, hey, I'm going to take away the me for the we. It wasn't my goals, my personal goals, my vision for success. No, what are we going to do to be successful? What are we going to accomplish by being together as a team? And I think that was the entire vision from the owner to Coach Lee down to the players.
Yes.
And that's why they are actual champions.
I have a important information that in the middle of season, Nguyễn Văn Hùng he get serious injuries, but he keep playing.
Van Hung is a warrior. I mean, he came to the right team. Tao Long warrior. He really represents that warrior mentality. He comes out no matter what. If you can imagine, this guy's been winning in karate for years, teaching warriors how to become great warriors. So if you can imagine, this guy has had to go through injuries of some sort to get back in there to win a gold medal. So for a basketball game, he realized, I'm going to come out here because my team needs me. And I respect and totally appreciate his hunger. I believe that if you're going to be successful, you got to have great humility and you got to have great hunger. You got to be humble enough to learn more, but hungry enough to want more. And Van Hung represented that. And he was the actual warrior for that team. Each guy on that team was a warrior. Jaewon was a warrior. Justin was a warrior. Trong was a warrior. They really adopted that warrior mentality. But I agreed to you earlier, the ownership has also that warrior mentality, and it impacted everybody in the organization.
Dưới phương diện là một fan để xem bóng rổ và không phải là một người có kiến thức chuyên sâu về bóng rổ thì nhìn lối chơi của Nguyễn Văn Hùng thì rất nhiều người đánh giá Nguyễn Văn Hùng là một cầu thủ chơi không được đẹp mắt. Và theo ý kiến của Phương thì vấn đề này như thế nào?
Thực sự thì ranh giới giữa chơi xấu hoặc là lối chơi thiên về thể lực gọi là physical nó rất là mong manh trong bóng rổ. Và bóng rổ là môn thể thao có rất là nhiều va chạm. Có một điểm chúng ta nên lưu ý về Nguyễn Văn Hùng là gần như anh là cầu thủ Việt Nam local duy nhất có thể chơi tay đôi với các trung phong import ở giải VBA.
To lớn đúng không?
Chính xác. Cơ thể của anh rất là đồ sộ, chúng ta có thể thấy anh là cầu thủ Việt Nam có bắp tay to nhất giải VBA vừa rồi. Tôi nghĩ đó là những cái mà phản xạ cũng như là kỹ năng mà đã được truy rèn qua rất là nhiều năm tập võ của anh, và đó cũng là một phần để có thể bảo vệ được anh ấy trước những cái trung phong rất là to lớn đến từ nước ngoài.
Những cái gì mà tôi đã chứng kiến anh thì tôi thấy đó thực sự nó chỉ là những nó gây cho chúng ta sự không đẹp mắt nhưng mà nó gần như là hợp lệ để đạt được. Tôi
đúng rồi, chúng ta có 3 trọng tài trên sân và họ là những người đầu tiên đánh giá đó là chơi xấu hay không.
Mr. Donte Hughes, so I have a question for you. Just imagine if this season's Thăng Long Warriors had not Nguyễn Văn Hùng and John Hill keep playing in the center. What do you think?
I don't think they would be the champions.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
But again, I think that Van Hung and Trong were so critical to the success of that organization because they really that goes to show you they have 4 players last year on different teams. Trong, Kanto Catfish, Van Hung, Saigon Heat, Jaewon, Justin, Ho Chi Minh City Wings. 4 guys. Ryan Lake didn't even play last year. And then you put those guys in a new team, in a new organization. And that lets you know the kind of leadership that Coach Lee displayed. He was able to get all 5 of those guys on the exact same page and to working together. I think he needs a lot of credit for what he was able to accomplish by getting those players on the same page. You have 4 guys from different places, 5 actually, and then you add in number 6, who was with Hanoi Buffaloes during the. So you had all these different players. And he brought those guys together as a family. He brought those guys and he empowered them. He didn't come in there and say, hey, we're going to do it this way. No, you could tell in his leadership, in his conversations with his players, hey, what do you guys see out there? How can we be more successful? He allowed those guys to showcase, hey, I'm familiar with this league. I can help us learn how to win in this league. He didn't come in and say, I'm successful everywhere I've been, and this is the way to go. No, he came in as an open vessel, as an open mind, and said, hey, you guys have experience in this league. What do we need to do to be successful? Not, I need you to do this for us to be successful. Because he opened that door and allowed those players to have that voice in the locker room, in the huddles, in practice, it allowed those guys to listen to him more and say, hey, coach, what do you want from us? And I think he deserves a lot of credit for how he was able to mold those guys together, get those guys on the exact same page, and create a winning culture. But again, I believe it comes down to he had the support of his owners. They bought into what they were trying to do as an organization, as a team. And the work ethic of his owner. Again, these owners are actually watching and looking for the next best talent. They're living the practice that they want to say to their players and to the other coaches and the staff. They're saying, hey, we're going to come into the gyms to see what kind of players are available. That energy, that attitude infects everybody. Look at Trump. He's 33 and he's still getting better. Look at Van Hung. He's 37 and he's still getting better.
Unbelievable.
That's going to be the key to any player that wants to have a great career in the VBA. Never be satisfied, always looking to improve, always looking to grow, and listen to your coaches. Even though the coach is going to have diverse opinions than every coach you've been a part of, listen to that guy. Let that coach teach you something that he knows.
Tô Quang Trung, Nguyễn Văn Hùng, Ran Lê, Justin Young, and Jalen Hill. But it's a huge mistake if we don't mention about the Hanoi local players.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. You know, almost the Hanoi local players is grow from a professional Hanoi league.
Wow.
They played together for a long time.
I think the great thing was by adding Tao Long to Hanoi, it showed that there's so much amazing talent in Hanoi that is yet to be tapped into. There's so much untapped talent in Hanoi because everybody can't play at Hanoi Buffalo's organization. So now there's a place for Tao Long Warriors to create and grow the other players that nobody knew about. And you could tell those players were passionate about being in Tao Long. Those players were passionate about showcasing their skill sets. I was able to watch some of those guys during the course of the year in the national tournament in Nha Trang. And I was like, wow, there was several different teams. I said, wow, I didn't know that there was this much talent in Hanoi. And to see number 21 making those shots, to see number 6 making those plays, those guys, there were some great players that created that extra culture in the success of that organization. So it's amazing to see what they're going to become in the future. And when I saw when I was sitting next to the owner in Hanoi watching those games after the day of the championship, and I said, wow, there's some new and improved talent that is coming in the pipelines for the future in Hanoi. So Tao Long is definitely looking to do something amazing for the future.
Tôi nghĩ đối với các cầu thủ Hà Nội của Thăng Long Warrior thì bản thân cái việc tham gia vào đội Thăng Long Warrior nó vừa là một sự hy sinh nhưng mà nó cũng là cho chúng ta thấy là họ yêu cái môn thể thao này như thế nào và họ đã phải hy sinh rất nhiều để có cái giấc mơ thành hiện thực và chúng ta đang ở rất là những cái giai đoạn rất là sớm của một nền bóng rổ đang phát triển. Chúng ta đang ở mới chỉ mùa giải thứ 2 của VBA thì cái sự hy sinh đó tôi nghĩ là cần thiết để cho những cái bước phát triển sau này. Tôi được biết là các cầu thủ đến từ bóng rổ không chuyên Hà Nội thi đấu cho Thăng Long Warrior họ có trích một phần lương để hỗ trợ đội U19 Hà Nội và đó là một cái việc làm rất là đáng quý.
Rất bất ngờ đấy.
Còn tôi có một cái ấn tượng đặc biệt khi mà theo dõi Thăng Long Warrior thi đấu, đó là cái câu chuyện của số 6 Trương Hoàng Trung. Đó là một cái câu chuyện rất hay, nó giống như một bộ phim truyền hình vậy. Anh ta đến từ đội Hà Nội Buffalo. Đầu mùa giải anh ấy không được thi đấu nhiều, anh ấy phải chiến đấu với vấn đề thừa cân của mình. Tôi có theo dõi trên Facebook của anh ấy và nó giống như thực sự là một cái bộ phim truyền hình có hậu vậy. Anh ta chiến đấu, anh ta không bỏ cuộc, anh ta chiến đấu chăm chỉ, tập luyện chăm chỉ, tuân theo các cái chỉ đạo của huấn luyện viên và đến 3 trận cuối cùng anh ta được chơi starting lineup và để lại dấu ấn rất là rõ rệt của mình. Và đó thực sự tôi nếu là bản thân tôi sẽ đánh đổi rất là nhiều thứ để có được cái khoảnh khắc như vậy, một từ có thể nói là giấc mơ thành hiện thực.
So what the Hanoi local players you most impressed?
Well, I love number 6 as a point guard. I think he came in and he played very mindfulness basketball. He was focused on doing his job. He knocked down a couple shots if he needed to take them. He also handled the pressure on the basketball as far as bringing it up. But then he also picked up his man full court. He was a quiet superstar, in my opinion, because he didn't get a lot of attention, but he didn't care. He was focused on just doing his job. He was focused on creating a name for himself in VBA. And I think his play on the court really showcased that. He was fiery, he was emotional, he was passionate, but he was committed to showcasing that, hey, I'm a championship player, I'm a starting point guard if I need to be, I'm a backup point guard if I need to be. And when the one player went down with injury, he stepped up. He was the guy that created that consistency in their bench, in their starting rotation, as far as really giving them great effort. So he is the key player on that local roster.
Ý kiến của huấn luyện viên Đỗ Thế Hiếu cũng khá tương đồng với những gì mà ý kiến của anh Trần Minh Phương đã đưa cho chúng ta. Và bây giờ là một câu hỏi cuối cùng cho anh Phương. Đó là anh có hy vọng năm sau Cần Thơ Catfish của anh có thể trả được mối thù năm nay tại VBA trước Thăng Long Warriors hay không?
Tôi cũng không suy nghĩ nhiều về mùa giải năm sau. Tôi để dành cái sự hứng khởi và ngạc nhiên đấy khi mùa giải năm sau bắt đầu.
Vâng, vừa rồi là một câu trả lời rất thông minh của anh Trần Minh Phương. Và những gì về Hà Nội, những gì xung quanh về các cầu thủ cũng như đội bóng của Hà Nội, hai đội bóng Thăng Long Warriors và Hà Nội Buffalo sẽ là những gì chúng ta quan tâm nhất ở chương trình lần sau. Và một lần nữa xin cảm ơn huấn luyện viên Đỗ Thế Hiếu và cảm ơn anh Minh Phương đã góp mặt và đưa ra những ý kiến vô cùng tuyệt vời. Và bây giờ chúng ta đã đến lúc phải chia tay. Xin chào và hẹn gặp lại. Đừng quên quay trở lại với Overtime vào lần sau.